Welcome to part 3 of the Teacher Portal tutorial. In this video, I will go over the useful reports you can run in Ignitia, as well as talk about the other tabs we have not yet covered. This is the Reports tab. Notice that there is a brief description of each report at the bottom. On the left are the tabs which will take you to the actual reports. Before taking a look at the reports themselves, make sure you set your time zone to whatever is applicable to you. You can simply select whichever one you want and it'll change here. I'm going to run mine in Pacific time zone. I will only talk about a few of the most useful reports, but you can experiment with the other ones if you'd like. Let's start by looking at the course percentage complete report. This report will give you all current grades and progress for the student. This can be used as a progress report. Most reports will be run in a similar way to this one. First, you'll need to select a time frame. Make sure the student's start date is included within this time frame. I'm going to run mine from the 1st of July 2015 until now. After that, just go ahead and select the student or students that you'd like to run the report for and click on Show Refresh. This is going to display all courses for the selected students. You'll see a little bit more. In this case, there's only one course for the student. Once you select the courses you want to look at, you can see there are a few different options in how you can export the report. You can display reports as a web file, a CSV file, which is useful for Excel or other spreadsheet software, or as a PDF file. The PDF option will be the best for a good-looking report that can be used as a progress report if needing to present it to your state or for your own records. Let's just take a look at how that looks really quickly. Notice that this gives you the score for what the course is, and this will display more courses if you would have selected more, as well as the progress in the course itself. The CSV report will be useful for filtering and counting assignments, which I will show you on some of the other reports. A more detailed version of this report is the Student Unit Grades report, and that report will display each unit individually. The only difference in the way you set this one up is that you can select whether you want only completed units to display or all units to display. And the average grade will still be for all units, but only the completed units will display separately if you select this. Another useful report is the Detailed Student Grading report. This report is a great way to see how many assignments were completed in any given time frame. You can also use this report to see what scores the student received on assignments completed. For example, if I wanted to take a look at what was completed, let's say in the month of February, in this account, I can select that time frame, select the student, click Show Refresh to display the courses, and run it as a CSV file. This will be a really easy way to see exactly how many assignments were completed without having to count manually if there is a large amount of assignments that will show up. In this case, that's probably not going to be the case. Alright, notice that this report will give you a bit more information, and it is a little bit messy if you're running it in this version, but this is an easy way to just select all of the assignments and see how many there are in total. So if you're looking at an entire month, you may see if there are 50 assignments or 30 assignments. A good way to count it up without doing that manually. You can, however, also run this as a PDF to get a better looking report, and I'll show you how that looks here. And this is a good way to look at the report if you're looking for the details of when the assignments were started, how long the student took to complete the assignment, what score they received, and things like that. The other useful report would be the login logout times. This report will show you all time spent by the student logged into the curriculum. Now this is including all the time online, including looking at grades, reading the curriculum itself, answering questions, or even taking a 5-minute break while signed into the account. And the setup here is going to be exactly the same as with the detailed student grading, where you select the time frame you want to look at, for example the day before, select the student, and run it either as a CSV, PDF, or a web file. The Student Activity Daily Breakdown Report is similar to the Login Logout Times report. That one's located here a little bit lower. This report, however, will only show the time spent in the assignments themselves, and the time spent will also be split by subject to see how well the student is allocating work between the different courses. The setup for this report is exactly the same as with the Login Logout Times report. Keep in mind that both previously mentioned time-based reports will be inaccurate if the student prints lessons to read offline. Only the time spent signed into Ignitia will be recorded in these reports. Another report that might be useful to you is a student lesson plan report. This report can be useful for a few different reasons. You can get an overview of assignments completed in a certain time period, and you can see how many assignments will be due in the future during a specific time period, or you can see how many overdue assignments the student currently has. Now, this report does require a little bit of filtering to get the results you're looking for, and I'll go ahead and walk you through that right now. If you're wanting to see the overdue assignments, you will need to pick a start date that is into the past enough to where it will include any overdue assignments. You can take that back as far as the beginning of the year or just a month ago if you know that the student hasn't fallen behind any more than a few weeks. I'm going till December just for this example and until now, and I have already set everything up here. The only thing that you will want to do is select Show Overdue in order to filter those out of the report. You'll want to run this report in Excel to be able to filter everything out. If you do not have Excel, you can do something similar to achieve the same results using OpenOffice or Google Sheets, but Excel is the way that I'm going to show you right now. And I did go ahead and pull this report up already so that you don't have to wait for it to load. I'll just make these due dates display all the way. Notice for all the assignments there is a due date and a completed date. And these ones at the bottom here show NA for the completed dates. In this case, it's a very small range of assignments. In your case, it will likely be a lot larger, so the filtering will actually be a lot more useful. But what we want to do is filter out everything here in order to only show the assignments that are not completed yet. And those are the ones that are overdue if you're looking up until today's date. In order to do that, you will need to create a table, and I'll just get rid of these excess rows here. To create a table, just go ahead and select the entire range, click on Insert and Table, and you will want My Table has headers because you do have these titles up here. And that's going to display this report this way. It'll have these little arrows at the top, so you can go ahead and click on the Completed On arrow and deselect everything here and select only NA. And that's going to filter out everything else, and you're only going to see the ones that say NA. You can simply select these different rows and you'll see exactly how many assignments the student is behind. So obviously with 4 assignments this is less relevant, but if you have, let's say, 30 or 40 assignments, this will be a lot easier to count up by simply selecting it. Now, the other reports I'm not going to be covering because they are a lot less relevant in most situations. But again, you can experiment with those reports if you'd like. Now let's take a look at the other tabs that we haven't covered yet. The Messages tab will most likely not be useful for you, but it can be utilized in some situations. If you're not regularly available to answer questions during the day, your student can send a message to you easily. Redo. If you are not regularly available to answer questions during the day, your student can send messages to you so you can easily go over those questions when you're available. And some students may choose to use help requests to keep notes linked to specific questions. If your student does this, these notes will show up in your Messages tab as well. Aside from these two uses, this tab will most likely be irrelevant to you, but if there is some use you can find in messaging between you and the student, this tab can be utilized, and it's basically the same as any other inbox where you can take a look at the archived emails, the sent emails, and just open them up and respond or archive these emails depending on what the message is. And you will also see these assignment alerts here, which will tell you if a course has been completed by the student or if a new course was assigned. And you'll likely not run into this except for at the beginning or when the student finishes one of their courses. The Assignment Alerts tab is the full version of the Assignment Alerts section that is on your homepage. If you recall from the first video, it's located at the bottom here, and it just displays all of the most recent assignments. The Assignment Alerts tab, however, will give you an option to look at a specific time frame up to 1 week for these recently completed assignments. Notice here you can select the past 4 days, so you can see exactly what was completed during that time frame. And again, this is only up to 1 week. And the last tab is going to be the Courses tab. This tab will not be useful for you as courses will be assigned on your behalf, and you can see details of any lessons the student is working on through the Gradebook tab, so really you're not going to need to ever use this tab. So that concludes the Teacher Portal tutorial. Feel free to reference back to any of these videos during your time with us, and thanks for watching.